Good evening. I just saw Boy Kills World. This movie, right here, let's talk about it. Again, it's called Boy Kills World, directed by Moritz Moore. His directorial debut stars Bill Skarsgård and a whole bunch of other people. This is a dystopian, totalitarian society ruled by the van der Kooi family, Hilda van der Kooi being the matriarch and just an awful human being, apparently. This young kid, his entire family is unalived by Hilda van der Kooi, and he somehow survives, and he's raised in the middle of nowhere by a shaman who is training him to be a deadly weapon so he can avenge his family. Due to an unfortunate incident, he lost his hearing and he lost his ability to speak. And unfortunately, he can't remember his real voice, so he took a voice from a video game that he used to like to play, and he made that his inner voice. And it's wonderful. But he can read lips. Once a year, there is this day called the Culling, where they basically pluck people from the streets, the enemies of Hilda, and they unalive them live on air. And he finds himself in the city with his shaman surrogate father, and they're plucking people off the street for the Culling. And he says, hey, it's my opportunity. This ends tonight. So off he goes in the trunk of a car next to a dead body. But it's okay though, because that dead body had a really nice red puffer vest. He puts it on. I don't know what that was about, but it looked really good on him. There really isn't much to say about this movie. Now, this here director, I can show him a little bit of grace because this is his directorial debut. So there is room for growth, room for improvement, and there is so much potential here. The weakness for this movie is the plot. It's just very thin, kind of, there's no weight to it, no substance, no character development. It's lackluster in that way. I felt like if the plot had a little more meat to it, this would have been a much funner ride. It's a fun movie, but instead of this being what it could have been, like, the Velocicoaster at Universal Studios, this was more like that little dragon ride I used to love to ride as a kid at the South Carolina State Fair. Fun, so much fun, but it lacked a maturity. You're either going to be bothered by that or you're not. If you are bothered by that, I think you're going to find the movie to be very boring. I was definitely bothered by the very thin plot. However, Now, when a movie's not good, and this movie's not bad, this movie's good, it's just, it has that one problem. But, for the sake of the conversation, when a movie's bad, there are two things that can get me to overlook the badness. Carnage and eye candy. And lucky for this movie, it's got both. April 2024 is the month of Carnage. Just blood and guts everywhere. I've never been happier. And the carnage was carnaging. I mean, some of the most interesting ways to go out, just unnecessary. Not quite Eli Roth unnecessary, but like, did we really have to do that? I mean, I'm glad you did, but did we have to? So much carnage. It's kind of cathartic. Don't read into that. It sucks that the plot was so dang weak because the comedic action is on point. I mean, the choreography, the editing, the color, the color red in this, minus, blood, guts, and all that jazz, but just the color red, the way it's so prominent and it stands out. The movie's funny. The writing is great. Like, this movie is just so funny. It's boy funny, almost. So I really wish the plot had been a little meatier, because this would have been like the perfect little action comedy. But what balances it out, because you have, this weak plot, but you also have great comedic action, and then you have Bill Skarsgård. Speaking of eye candy, just give me a moment. That man is so fine. Oh my God! Those big blue eyes looking like a walking biohazard. He has the perfect face. And I don't mean that because he's pretty. I mean, he has a canvas face. I say this about Anya Taylor-Joy. You can literally kind of do whatever you want with her, and he's so expressive. He just knows what to do with his face. That's an art form, a skill in and of itself. But he gives a really good performance for someone who doesn't speak at all. The entire movie, he does not speak, because again, his character cannot speak. He has to use his face. It's very like 1920s silent film, slapstick comedy, kind of performance. It's well done. He does such a good job. He gives a great performance, and I think that elevates this a little bit. But yeah, the man is fine. Even though for half the movie he looks like he walked through an upside-down slaughterhouse, the man is fine. Other than that, I enjoyed it. That was fun. That was good. I needed that. That hit my soul in the best way. Again, don't read into that. The movie technically comes out tomorrow. If you see it, let me know what you think.